I lost 40 pounds, and I didn't do it by starving myself, cutting out carbs, or living in the gym. What changed everything for me were these 20 simple eating habits. Because here's the truth, you cannot out-train a bad diet. You can spend an hour burning 500 calories and literally eat them back with 5 Oreos in 5 minutes. So you can spend all the time you want in the gym and you could buy all of the supplements, but even if your nutrition is off by just a tad, your body will not change. Once I fixed this for myself, I dialed in my nutrition, my energy literally skyrocketed, my cravings disappeared, and the weight came off for good. And today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the 20 eating tips that completely changed my life, and I know they're gonna change yours too. The first thing that I did to lose the 40 pounds, and not only that, but win my WNBF Natural Bodybuilding Pro Card, was I started to avoid eating things out of the bag, as this can cause overeating. So instead of eating things out of the bag, put your portion on a plate and put the bag away. So what I used to do was, let's say for example, popcorn or ice cream. You go into your kitchen and you pull up the fridge, you're like, what do I want to eat tonight? You grab the ice cream. Instead of taking the ice cream, going to the couch and eating directly off the couch out of the massive quart container of ice cream, you actually get a bowl, you weigh out the bowl, and you put the measured amount that you're supposed to eat in the bowl, and you put the ice cream back. The same thing for chips. I don't think people understand how much of a big deal it is when you mindlessly snack and mindlessly eat. So let's say, for example, you do this with chips. You grab the big thing of chips out of the pantry, you go and sit down, watch your favorite movie, snuggle up, Love is Blind on Netflix, whatever it is, and before you know it, you just ate half of the bag. Now, this is my only downfall I have with Costco. Like, I love shopping at Costco, obviously, but the biggest downfall with Costco is they sell everything in massive bags. And I think what happens is because we buy things in these huge bags, we end up eating too much than we need to. So let's say you love chips. Instead of eating chips out of the massive bag, I want you to pull out the amount of chips you're gonna eat, put it on a plate or put it in a bowl, put the chips back, then you can enjoy your food. Because if you don't do this, you will mindlessly eat. And doing this is gonna help you still eat your favorite foods in the right portions. The second thing I did was I stopped eating my emotions away. I used to be an extremely emotional eater. This will only numb your emotions and make them worse, which causes your bad emotions to come back later. So what I would do is whenever I felt stressed out, whenever I felt overwhelmed, whenever I felt anxious, I would run to the pantry and go to food and try to use food to cope or deal with my negative emotions. But what happened was every time I did that, whatever negative emotion I was feeling, it always came back worse. Now you have the guilt, the shame, the condemnation because you know you shouldn't have ate that food. So instead what I did was I stopped using food to deal with my emotions. And the thing that helped me with this was I would tell myself in the moment, whatever I eat to deal with this negative emotion is going to make the emotion I'm feeling worse. We all know how bad you feel the next day after a bad night of eating. Like, in my opinion, that feeling of regret or shame or guilt because I know I didn't control my eating the night before is worse than whatever stress or anxiety I was feeling in the moment the day before. So now what I do is instead of running to food to deal with my emotions, I deal with my emotions head on. So whether that's going on a walk, whether that's reading a book, whether that's journaling, whether that's praying, like whatever I gotta do to deal with that emotion, I'm gonna do that instead of going to food, because the food never solves any emotional problems that you have. The third thing I did was instead of trying to avoid bad foods, I focused on eating the healthy ones. This one is a game changer. What this does is this helps you create an identity of someone who is a healthy person. So instead of being like, I'm not allowed to eat cookies, I'm not allowed to eat candy, I'm not allowed to eat chips, I'm not allowed to have that, what can I have? What can I add into my diet in order to lose this 40 pounds? Because if you only focus on subtraction, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to have carbs, you're not allowed to have sugar, you're not allowed to eat at 9 p.m. All you do is think about doing those things that you told yourself you're not allowed to do. And willpower can only get you so far. So instead you focus on addition. So what do you need to add in? So you add in protein, you add in water, you add in fiber, you add in nutrient dense foods. And then what you'll find is when you add in the right stuff, you actually don't have any more room in your stomach for the wrong stuff. So when you fill your diet with protein, fiber, water, nutrient dense foods, you're so full, you actually don't crave the junk food that holds you back. So by focusing on addition, it actually creates a healthy relationship with food and you become a healthy person. The fourth thing, this is very practical, is chewing your food until it becomes liquid. How many of us sit down at the dinner table and we just inhale food? I know I can fall victim to this, especially if I'm like in a rush trying to eat and get to the next thing. Try this, mindful eating. Sit down and when you eat, actually think about what you're eating. So chew your food until it becomes liquid. Don't put another bite into your mouth until you're done with the current bite. It sounds very simple, but so many of this mess up. I literally heard of someone dying because they were eating food too fast trying to get to the next Zoom call, that they literally choked on the steak that they were having. Slow down, eat your food, enjoy your food, and you actually become more full when you chew your food fully. This also improves your digestion and increases your feelings of fullness. So if you struggle with cravings, one of the things that you might be doing wrong is you're just inhaling your food like a dog. Don't do that. Don't be that person. The fifth thing is avoid drinking alcohol at all costs. What alcohol does is it's empty calories you don't need, it ruins your sleep, it makes you hungrier, it increases your cravings while lowering your energy and your focus for the next day. So do whatever you can to decrease your alcohol consumption as much as possible. Whether that is 2 drinks a week or 2 drinks a month. If you could cut your alcohol down, that will significantly increase your likelihood of being able to lose the weight that you need to lose. The sixth thing is take a walk after meals to improve not only your digestion, but also your energy levels. If you're someone who struggles getting your 8,000 steps a day or 10,000 steps a day, one of the biggest hacks is not just going on long walks, but it's doing micro walks throughout your day. So if you can go on a 5 to 10 minute walk after each meal, that will significantly improve your step count and it's going to improve your mental clarity and your digestion. So let's say you're someone who you get really bloated after meals. You notice after you eat lunch, you get super bloated. One thing that could really help big time with this is going on a 10-minute walk. This helps everything flow and move a lot more properly in your stomach. So that can be a big help for you as well. Number 7, this changed the game for me right here, is eating similar meals every single day. This makes eating simple and removes what's called decision fatigue, and also helps you hit your macros and calories more consistently. The average person makes 226 decisions solely around food every single day. So the goal is, how can I make less decisions around food? How can I not allow my mind to control what I eat? The best way to not allow your mind or your cravings or emotions to control what you eat is you plan out what you're gonna eat beforehand. So if you sit down on a Sunday and you meal prep or you plan your meals for the whole week, and now it's Tuesday night, you're not gonna ask yourself, oh, what do I feel like eating tonight? That's never a question you should ask. It's not about what you feel like eating, it's about what you are required to eat. That's the difference between someone who's able to see results on a consistent basis and someone else who's inconsistent. The person who's inconsistent does what they feel like doing. They eat what they feel like eating. The person who sees results regularly, they do what is required to eat. Even if they're hungry or they're craving something, they look at what they had planned to eat for the day and they execute. So they don't make decisions around food all day long because they already made the decision the day before or the week before. That right there will take the decision-making process out of your meals so you can actually use your decision-making power on other important decisions you have to make throughout your day. Number 8. When you eat out, avoid the bread bowl. Every restaurant you go to pretty much nowadays has some type of bread bowl. Well, they'll just put unlimited bread on your plate. What this does, this adds unnecessary calories while amping up your appetite before eating a meal. And so what I like to do is I follow the 1, not 3 rule when I eat out. So either I can have the appetizer like the bread, I can have a drink like a beverage, or I can have the dessert, but not all 3. And so for most people, they completely derail their progress when eating out with the extras. If you go to a restaurant and all you do is eat your entree, you're gonna be fine. But the main reason why people get messed up when they go to restaurants is not necessarily the meal that they have to eat, but it's all the extras, the appetizers, the drinks, and the desserts. So use the 1, not 3 method to decrease your calorie intake when you do go to restaurants. Number 9, stop eating foods that cause you to overeat. This sounds simple, but there are some foods you can't stop eating when you consume them. Avoid them at all costs. So I'm all for flexible dieting. Like, that is the main principle I practice and I teach in my program. However, if you're someone who cannot eat 1 or 2 pieces of pizza and you gotta eat the whole box, do not eat pizza. If you can't have just 1 drink and enjoy yourself and you gotta throw like 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks back every time you drink, do not drink alcohol. Same thing with cookies. Let's say you can't just have 1 cookie, you gotta have the whole box. Then do not eat the box of cookies. If you can't control yourself, if you can't eat a certain portion amount of the food that you know you need to eat, do not eat it. Number 10, Try to avoid drinking water with meals to avoid eating your food faster. So if you're drinking and eating at the same time, studies show that you actually eat your food faster and you consume more food. Instead, what you should do is consume 8 ounces of water before your meal. So whenever you drink 8 ounces of water before you eat, you actually end up eating less and you're not as hungry after you eat. So one of the best things to do if you're decreasing your calorie intake is starting to drink water before you actually eat your actual meal. Number 11, if your goal is to lower cholesterol levels, add psyllium husk to water or your protein shakes throughout the day. So psyllium husk is an amazing tool to increase fiber intake and decrease your cholesterol levels. And so when you increase fiber, you're gonna help increase digestion, you're gonna help increase your energy levels, and you're also going to increase fullness. And so I love psyllium husk. I love having some type of fiber supplement in my diet, especially as you decrease calories and your fiber intake just goes down. I think this is a big help for a lot of people. So if you struggle with bowel movements, if you struggle with energy, if you just don't get enough fruits and veggies in, adding in psyllium husk or just some type of fiber supplement can be a game changer for you. Number 12, stop eating in your car. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is something that was really hard for me to do for a long time because I'm so busy all the time, I'm so on the go. Sometimes the only time I had to eat was in my car. I would just heat up my Tupperware, boom, eating and driving at the same time. Don't do this. Don't eat in your car. Maybe you don't do that, but maybe you eat with your phone in your face at the dinner table. You're at the dinner table, you're scrolling Instagram while shoveling food. Or maybe you eat dinner while watching TV. Stop doing that too. The goal is to avoid all forms of distracted eating, to be more mindful of your feelings of fullness. And so many people eat their meals while doing something else. Replying to emails, texting, talking on the phone, watching TV, on a Zoom call, driving, and you don't even realize you're getting full and you continue to eat. And what happens is because you eat so fast when you're doing this, you actually end up craving food later on in the day more because you're not enjoying the food you're eating. So the next time you eat, here's your homework. Sit down, put your phone away, don't watch TV, don't scroll social media, and just eat your food. It's weird at first, but you're gonna notice it makes a massive difference when it comes to losing weight, dropping body fat, and staying full longer. Number 13, eat from smaller plates, as this tricks your brain into thinking it had more food. So if right now at home you have massive plates and you're decreasing calories and you're weighing your food out, you're like, oh, that doesn't look like a lot of food. When your plate is full, so one thing that I'll do is I'll actually sometimes put my food into a bowl instead of a plate because of this factor. What happens is when you eat out of a smaller bowl or a smaller plate, your brain's like, whoa, that's a lot of food. When you eat off of a big plate and there's a lot of empty space on the plate, your brain's like, oh, that's not a lot of food. So if right now you have massive American-sized plates, one of the easiest hacks you could do, and this is a game changer, is buying smaller plates. Now you might be like, oh, I don't want to go buy smaller plates. If buying smaller plates helps you lose that 20 to 30 pounds, trust me, it is worth the investment to do. Number 14, volumize your food with veggies to feel fuller at each meal. So some of my favorite vegetables to volume eat, so by high volume eat, it means it's low in calories and high in volume, like a lot of it, would be things like salad, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. You can eat so much of those veggies and they will fill you up so much more. If you've ever had a chicken salad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You eat a chicken salad and it's like a couple hundred calories, but you feel like you just ate 1,000 because of the volume. So if you're someone who struggles with hunger throughout your day, think to yourself, how can I volumize my meals with more veggies? Another way to volumize your meals is not just veggies, but it's also fruits. So I think, how can I increase my fruit intake on a regular basis? Number 15, this is for people who struggle with late night eating. Brush and floss your teeth after dinner to prevent nighttime snacking. So if you eat dinner and then maybe you wait a couple hours, you watch TV, and then you find yourself in the pantry just scarfing away food, one of the best ways to combat this is right when you're done with dinner, go brush your teeth right away, or right when you're done with your last meal, whenever that is. When you brush your teeth, you're gonna be so much less likely to go and eat because your teeth are already clean and no one wants to go to bed without brushing their teeth. So this is a really easy system, a really easy hack to start implementing if you're like, hey, I wanna make sure I don't eat at a certain time or when I'm capped on calories. The second you're done with your calories for the day, boom, go brush your teeth. Don't wait until you go to bed. Do it right away. That one trick right there can save you literally hundreds of calories if you're someone who really struggles with that late night eating. Number 16 is if you have trouble snacking at night, it's because you didn't have enough nutrition earlier on in the day. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm struggling with late night snacking or late night eating, so I gotta do intermittent fasting or I gotta do this. I actually believe the opposite. If you're someone who struggles with late night eating, a lot of the times the problem isn't that you ate the wrong thing at night, it's that you're not eating the wrong thing in the morning. If you are not getting your adequate protein intake for breakfast and lunch, and you're just running throughout your day like a chicken with its head cut off, and then you eat dinner and you barely got 50 grams of protein in by 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., no wonder your cravings are through the roof at 8 o'clock. So what I like to do is focus on 40 grams of protein for breakfast and then another 30 to 40 grams by lunch. Now I'm 70, 80 grams of protein in for the day. Even for me, honestly, it sometimes comes out to be more. And so you front load your day with nutrients such as protein, fiber. That way you're satisfied and satiated throughout the rest of the day. So you will find that when you do hit your protein goals earlier on and you're done with your protein goals by dinner time, you're not gonna have as much cravings later on after dinner time. Number 17, do not eat until you're stuffed. You eat until you are 80% full. So this is a great strategy to do if you're someone who's like completely resistant to tracking macros. And just in general, my goal is always to eat until 80% fullness. You never want to fully stuff yourself. The reason you want to do this is because it's going to improve your digestion, it improves your energy levels, and it obviously is going to help with weight loss. And so always ask yourself, okay, the second I hit 80% full, I'm done eating, not when my plate is done. If you're going out to eat at a restaurant, this is particularly important because at any American restaurant, they're gonna give you massive portions. And so the goal at a restaurant isn't just to eat until I'm done with my meal, the goal is to eat until I'm 80% full. And here's the beauty of this, I can take the food home. So you never have to completely finish your meal because at most places, you can ask for a to-go box. So no one's forcing you to eat the whole meal. Number 18, when you're cutting weight, an easy hack to increase volume is use potatoes as your carb source. My favorite type of potatoes is sweet potatoes, baby. I love sweet potatoes. Potatoes are the best at improving fullness levels. So for example, 6 ounces of sweet potatoes is more food than 6 ounces of rice or 6 ounces of bread because it is less calorie dense and more nutrient dense. So what I like to do, especially when I'm cutting and dropping weight, is I will incorporate more potatoes into my routine. So it doesn't have to be sweet potatoes. You can do sweet potatoes, golden potatoes, russet potatoes. All types of potatoes are great. Just make sure obviously they're not fried. So we're not talking about French fries, right? So air fried, baked, all of those options are great. But I love implementing potatoes into my regular routine and nutrition on a daily basis to increase volume. Number 19, drink water not only before your meals, but also after your meals to increase feelings of fullness. And so an easy hack to decrease your hunger levels throughout the day is, like I talked about earlier, drinking 8 ounces before, but you also want to drink some water afterwards. So a great combination to use is 8 ounces of water before and then sparkling water or some type of carbonated beverage after. You will feel super full. I'm a big believer in carbonated beverages. I think there are huge helps when you're on a fat loss and weight loss journey. Also, I'm a big believer in diet and zero sodas. I think those are also big helpers when you're on a weight loss journey. Number 20, dine on blue plates. This is a crazy one, but research shows that people eat less if there's a high contrast in colors between the plates and the food. So with blue being the color people ate the least of. And so like I said earlier, you wanna make sure you eat on smaller plates or even bowls, but another hack you could do is change the color of your plate. So instead of having white plates, try getting blue plates. This also tricks your brain. And when you implement these 20 eating tips, it will be virtually impossible for you not to drop body fat. And when I personally implemented these 20 eating tips with structured training, with accountability, with specific macro targets, I was unstoppable. And so I hope this is helpful for you. Implement these 20 tips and you will see a massive difference in your body and your physique. If you want to learn more about what it would look like to work closely with me with coaching, all I want you to do is fill out the link in the description below and I'll reach out directly to you to see how I can help.